I have news. I bring news of an individual that has become. Well, what's the trajectory exactly of David Coot? I believe it's Coot. Maybe it's Cootie. But that trajectory has gone from explosive, like explosively interesting, like a bombshell report, to controversial, to sad. We definitely then hit sad. And then we've gone to disturbing, right? We've gone the entire. You probably haven't thought about this guy in a while, but we have covered all of that ground, and we have now ended up at disturbing. Disturbing was at the end of the line. We've gotten there, which, congratulations, I guess. I would have hoped this was not the natural trajectory of this guy's life falling apart. It's not like you're rooting for somebody to have all of the marbles fall out of the jar, but apparently this has been brewing under the surface for a long time because these accusations, or should I say these charges, or charge, but one very serious one, comes from 2020, which is when this dude was working, right? Like literally when he was working as a Premier League ref. Now, obviously, in a bid not to anger the Premier League or the powers that be, the people that are writing articles about this are not discussing it. But if I look up, I want to kind of make sure. I'm assuming that he has a Wikipedia, right? He was a Premier League referee from 2018 to 2024, which means at the time of this accusation, he was a Premier League referee and then continued to be a Premier League referee for 4 years after this infraction. Now, I need to be very, 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 very clear. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew, right? It's not like there was no cover up. There wasn't at least as far as I know. But, it really, there is no indication that anybody knew about this until these charges were brought. So I'm not out here sitting in my chair like accusing the Premier League of this cover up to allow this sort of behavior. I'm just saying that it is disturbing to me, if you string the timelines together, that somebody that was involved in this sort of thing was also a Premier League referee. I'll just bombshell you here. Ex-Premier League referee David Coot charged with having indecent child video. We're there now. And this happened in 2020. Right? But there has been even more twists to this tale than you probably realize since that initial video came out about David Coot. And then we'll kind of get into the charges themselves. He was sacked in December of last year, so still less than a year ago. David Coot was a legitimate Premier League referee in good standing. The video that circulated, and if you remember at the time, the reason he was sacked is because he was making derogatory comments about ex-Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp in July of 2020. So this is the same year all this shit was going down. This was a 4-year-old video, over 4-year-old video at the time that these accusations were being levied from, right? And it was a weird video. He looked drunk or intoxicated with some sort of substance that messes with your brain a little bit. And he was sitting there just kind of going back and forth, right? And just talking about how he didn't like Jurgen Klopp, basically, and talking the way that I would talk to you about some manager I didn't like. Or maybe sometimes you don't even have a reason. You're just like, I just don't really like that guy. He sucks, Oh, and he's German, You're like, it was just that sort of thing. Drunk, 3 a.m. night out. The problem is when you're a Premier League referee, you can't have that sort of shit coming around. Because obviously that is going to be, look, can't be doing that. Right now, all of a sudden, every time you're refereeing a Liverpool match, or you just can't, you can be, hey, he made that call because he hates Jurgen Klopp. It adds that seed of doubt, and when you're a referee, seeds of doubt grow into fucking forests. But I did, at that time, I felt bad for him, right? Because it was just this one instance of he got drunk, and he was being an idiot. Just considering his profession, but engaging in behavior that is totally normal for, I would say, the vast majority of football fans. Everything since then has been this, like, you know the clown suit, right? Where they pull the banner, they pull the flags out and they just keep pulling and keep pulling. It's been like that, except it's just shit, and more shit. This dude, his whole life was like a house of cards. And all it took was one person posting that video going, whew, and then all this shit hit the fan. And he literally went from Premier League referee to child porn, right? That is holy shit. That is a holy shit trajectory. This is an article from the Express UK, by the way. The Puig Mole said that Coot's position became untenable. He was banned by European football's governing body UEFA in February until June 30th, 2026, after a different video emerged of him snorting a white powder through a banknote while in Germany. You might remember that one, where all the signs point, if the smoke is cocaine colored, it looks like coke, right? That was what he was doing on video. In this particular, I mean, it looked like that's what he was doing, unless he's got a real habit for snorting sugar or something, right? That video dropped, and you're like, all right, this guy had some problems. This guy had some problems that were outside of the normal bounds of dude soccer behavior, right? It's one thing to be drunk and start shit-talking a manager. It's a whole other thing to, be on video partying and doing drugs when you are supposed to be the responsible person in matches that are worth millions and millions of dollars. When your whole job is getting paid to officiate one of the most controversial things you can possibly officiate, right? You need to be a steadier person than somebody that's involved in that. So UEFA banned him as well. UEFA did not ban him in December. They banned him a couple months later because of that. He addressed the clips in January, explaining to The Sun how he had endured a lifelong struggle. And then here's bombshell number 3, to hide the fact that he's gay. Right? So now all of a sudden he's unfurled. And I think I'm just gonna say something. I think it's a fucking excuse. I think this is disingenuous 100%. I don't know if he's doing it intentionally, but this is a guy that clearly has problems. And while being gay obviously complicates a lot of shit, if you're a player or you're a referee, you feel a lot of pressure from society, depending on what society you're in, right, to not exactly talk about that, to advertise it. And clearly what he's talking about are repressed emotions, which are very real. But there are a lot of people that have struggled to come out of the closet that are gay, that aren't, like, holding a job that they are not supposed to be doing something in and then doing that thing, which is the Jurgen Klopp video, that are not getting caught on video doing copious amounts of drugs to deal with that. I'm not saying it's not a difficult thing to deal with, being gay and not knowing how to approach that in your public life. But there are a lot of people that have figured out how to not do crazy, fucked up shit that are in that position, right? And in that sense, it is kind of an excuse that he is leaning into. He said, my sexuality isn't the only reason that led me to be in that position, which is a fair thing to say. But I'm not telling an authentic story if I don't say that I'm gay and that I've had real struggles with hiding that. Honestly, I kind of want to dial back what I said a little bit because that's actually, for somebody that is in this position, a remarkably balanced thing to say. I hid my emotions as a young ref, and I hid my sexuality as well. A good quality as a referee, but a terrible quality as a human being. And that's led me to a whole host of behaviors. So you read that and you're like, damn, he's headed in the right direction again. Life is good. Then, skadoosh. The accused from Newark has been charged that on January 2nd, 2020, he made one indecent video of a child of category A. This is the most serious category and typically shows young children, trigger warning, which is fair for some people that have maybe experienced this sort of trauma in the past, being raped or sexually abused by adults. That is what category A video type is. Yeah, so fuck this dude. Amazing to me that with all of the different problems that he had going on, he was able to sustain his job as long as he could. And remarkable to me that somebody was able to be as high functioning with this many problems. One, that he was able to hide them in the first place, and the other that somebody that has this many issues, that is up to this much bad stuff, is able to even get to a functioning point where they're able to hide it. And I mean, this is the jail, right? This is like the Parks and Rec meme where it's just straight to just jail, right? If this is proven in a court of law, jail. Damn, dude.